We're finding out how good Gengar was in competitive Pokemon. Let's go.
Gengar, the original Ghost type and Dark Side to Clefable.
Okay.
Maybe. It's just a theory. Anyway, Gengar is one of the most iconic Ghost types, but how did it fare over the years in competitive battling? Let's find out. And I made this intro intentionally short because we got a lot to cover, and I want to go over it in a reasonable amount of time. In this video, I will be examining Gengar during these popular competitive formats. In Gen 1, Gengar was one of the most used Pokemon in competitive play for its high speed and special stat, as well as immunity to two of the strongest moves at the time, Explosion and Hyper Beam. Gengar was the fastest Pokemon that could utilize Sleep to its advantage thanks to the move Hypnosis. Its speed allowed it to put opposing Pokemon to sleep before they could do anything, provided that it didn't miss. This was especially good in Gen 1 since Pokemon wasted a whole turn on just waking up, allowing Gengar to repeat the process if need be. In Nintendo Cup meta, Gengar combined Hypnosis with other special moves like Thunderbolt and Psychic, as well as Explosion, allowing Gengar to take an opponent down with it should its plans fail. Thanks to all of this, Gengar was one of the best special...
Just want to say Gengar, my favorite Pokemon. Love him. Look at him. Little chubby little. Let me lower this a little bit. So just lower it a little bit. Chubby little fat purple thing. Ghost.
Attackers in the game, despite it not being able to utilize its stab to the fullest, since all ghost and poison moves were physical. Also, fun fact, during the second official Pokemon League tournament for Nintendo Cup Japan, Gengar was on 6 out of 7 top teams. This is because Gengar was preferred over its sworn enemy and counter Alakazam due to the version of Pokemon Stadium they were playing on at the time. This was Nintendo Cup 98, the original first Pokemon Stadium that was never released in the US. For some reason, in this game, in addition to there being a sleep clause, Alakazam couldn't learn the move Recover, which made Alakazam least preferred. Alright, sorry about the long fun fact, but speaking of Alakazam, Alakazam was Gengar's primary counter because of its superior speed and ability to destroy Gengar with Psychic. Also, Rhydon was another counter to Gengar because Gengar couldn't Fate Rhydon in one blow and was not immune to Earthquake yet. However, despite these two counters, Gengar saw itself being used a lot because of its unique utility abilities and power. Alright, Gen 2, Gengar got a slight boost in its move kit with its access to the elemental punches, though the main ones players used were either Fire or Ice Punch, depending on what your team needs. It also got access to new moves, Perish Song, and of course, Destiny Bond, increasing its ability to feint opponents even more. Fire Punch and Ice Punch in particular were good against top threats like Marowak and Steelix. Perish Song and Destiny Bond could be used in combination with Mean Look or Hypnosis in order to trap opponents into being feinted, provided Gengar could hold them off. However, Gengar, at least in Nintendo Cup 2000, was a bit overshadowed by Mischievous, due to Mischievous being pure Ghost type and being slightly bulkier. Both had access to Mean Look and Perish Song, though since Gengar didn't have Levitate, it was still weak to ground moves, and of course, unlike Mischievous, it was also weak to Psychic moves because of its poison typing. Though this didn't stop Gengar from being used often, as it could still kamikaze itself with either Explosion or Destiny Bond once again. Also, side note, against Snorlax, Perish Song and Curse were used in order to wither away Snorlax if it is asleep. Gengar was still a great threat, despite being slightly overshadowed, because even if Mischievous was preferred as a trapper, Gengar still could be used as a fast sweeper again. Gengar was good against Pokemon that depended on either normal, fighting, bug, or poison moves. Alright, Gen 3 Smogon Singles. Gengar finally got its ability Levitate, making it immune to ground moves.
If you ever played Pokemon, damn, was it Coliseum or Gale of Darkness? Whichever one, where you could put the little cake food down and catch Pokemon, bro. That's how I caught my Flygon back then. You gotta be smart. I was a little kid just out here hustling Pokemon like that. I don't know how they got Gengar, but that was before I knew how you could like transfer all of that. Man, I wish I held on to my Game Boys still.
Moves like Earthquake. In addition to this, Gengar got access to Will-O-Wisp to its already diverse move pool. As far as sets go, Gengar used roughly the same sets as last gen, except now one had the option of incorporating Will-O-Wisp and Taunt depending on the team. Thanks to
It's Gale of Darkness. I saw the character.
Will-O-Wisp, popular threats such as Tyranitar and Metagross could get burned on switch-in. Also, a combination of Thunderbolt and Ice Punch are able to hit a number of threats such as Gyarados, Suicune, Vaporeon, and the Dragons. If Gengar is carrying Giga Drain, it could hit Swampert for a lot of damage. And of course, if all else fails, it can either Destiny Bond or explode on threats. Though Gengar is fast and powerful, it still can't take on things that possess super effective attacks unless it successfully burned them. It also can barely put a dent in Blissey, Regice, and Snorlax that has Shadow Ball. Celebi can also scare it away with Psychic. Basically, anything that can take a hit from Gengar and fire back with a special move will cause Gengar a lot of problems. However, thanks to its diversity, Gengar found itself on several teams. Alright, Gen 4. Thanks to the physical special split, Gengar finally could utilize its special attack with...
I never played Pokemon Battle Revolutions. I always wanted to.
It's now primary
Just
stat
thought I should
move
throw that
Shadow
out
Ball.
there.
In order to have the best coverage, players most often had Focus Mist, Focus Blast, accompany Shadow Ball, as well as Substitute. It would use Substitute to predict switches so that it could fight Scizor and Tyranitar behind a sub, which were two of Gengar's mortal enemies because of the move Pursuit. Hidden Power Fire could be used to KO Scizor and Fortress, while Focus Blast could be used against Heatran and Lucario for massive damage. Also, when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, Gengar gained the move Pain Split, which finally allowed it to put up a fight against Blissey. Thanks to Pain Split, it could abuse Life Orb and Substitute and then use Pain Split to weaken its opponent while healing itself. This essentially forces Blissey into a situation where it could actually be KO'd by Gengar unless it healed itself constantly. Though Gengar's movesets didn't stop there, there's a whole bunch of them that could be utilized in many situations, which allowed Gengar to place itself on many teams. Though Gengar of course isn't without a cost because it is still fragile and can be KO'd by most things that outspeed it, like Scarf users and especially moves like Pursuit and Sucker Punch. Blissey can also wall it well if it's not using the Pain Split set. Though again, Gengar's versatility still made it a desirable glass cannon. Gen 4 VGC. Gengar saw itself in a few regional championships, which is pretty cool. It was utilized quite a bit thanks to its immunity to Explosion and Fake Out, which were both pretty common moves amongst VGC. It was able to hit a lot of common psychic types like Cresselia, Dusknoir, or pretty much anything that it was faster than. Depending on the team, it could also hit other things for a lot of special damage with either Thunderbolt or Sludge Bomb, as well as Taunt to prevent the opposing team from setting up. It basically was sort of like an assassin, able to pick off threats it was super effective against. It could also combo with Earthquake users like Swampert and Garchomp because of the Levitate. However, it must be careful as faster things like Azelf can KO it easily, and it could also be double targeted in general since Gengar is pretty frail. Gen 5 singles, Gengar is yet again a speedy offensive threat. Its sets are still roughly the same with the exception of utilizing Disable since Disable's accuracy was increased to 100% for even more utility. It also had different EV spreads to utilize more HP, reminiscent of its Gen 3 sets. It could disable important moves on common walls like Blissey and Ferrothorn if timed correctly. Also, once again, the Substitute Pain Split set was utilized against Blissey and now Chansey, as it could remove lots of health while healing itself. Though with the advent of more faster physical attackers, Will-O-Wisp became a lot more important in order to cripple threats like Tyranitar, Scizor, and Jirachi. Though once again, Gengar needs a sub to not be KO'd by Pursuit users. Its weak matchups consist of things that could outspeed it and KO it, such as Tornadus, Starmie, and Jolteon, as well as Choice Scarf users like Politoed, Latios, Terrakion, Rotom W, and more. It also didn't take kindly to priority moves like Bullet Punch, Ice Shard, Aqua Jet, and especially Sucker Punch, unless the user was burned. Though again, the sheer amount of diversity Gengar had pushed it to the top. Gen 5 VGC. Gengar was moderately used, but
all I'm gonna say, I already said it, my favorite Pokemon, but especially in Shield, I got Shield, yeah. Especially in Shield, when you fucking Gigantamax him, or yeah, Gigantamax, or Dynamax, Gigantamax, same thing, because he got like the same form, I think, same basically. It looks cool. His Mega, when you Mega Evolve him, he looks cool. Only thing I'm disappointed in is his shiny. It's literally like, it's just like the least impressive one out of like the bare minimum color swap. But shiny Mega Gengar,
overshadowed by Chandelure since Chandelure had more power. In this meta, Gengar utilized Ghost Gem in order to take out common threats like Latios, if it wanted to speed tie, Cresselia, and Dusclops. Depending on its moves, it could take out Breloom, Thundurus, Tornadus, and Garchomp. Basically, its usage was similar to that of the previous generation, except with slightly more damage. It is weak to the likes of Tyranitar, who was quite common in this meta, as well as of course Sucker Punch users. It also couldn't really take a Psychic hit. Finally, Gen 6. Now, since there is also Mega
Chubby boy.
Gengar in addition
Yes.
to regular Gengar, I will be covering both for singles. So yes, that means I'm covering Ubers for the first time. For VGC, I will
Ubers.
cover both regular Gengar and Mega Gengar as well. Alright, singles for regular Gengar. With the introduction of Sludge Wave, Gengar got a stronger special poison type move, which is extremely useful for fighting the new fairy types. Gengar could destroy the likes of Mega Altaria, Gardevoir, and Clefable. In addition to this,
Mega
it did
Altaria
better
was
against Steel
nice.
types because Steel no longer resisted Ghost types. Though alternatively, one could utilize Will-O-Wisp in conjunction with
Got
the
like a
Ghost
little head
move
on.
Hex, which has base 130 power if it hits something that is under status.
that a
Though
Ultra
even
Beast?
with all
Yeah.
these boosts, Gengar still had trouble versus Assault Vest users since it couldn't outright feint them, as well as once again things that are faster than it like Choice Scarf users and things with strong priority moves. And of course, it can be caught by Pursuit users. In Gen 6 Ubers, Mega Gengar became a niche pick thanks to its ability Shadow Tag, which allowed it to trap anything that wasn't a Ghost type. It could
Okay.
trap and vaporize the likes of normal Arceus and Darkrai with Focus Blast, as well as absorb Toxic Spikes since it no longer had Levitate. It could also do considerable neutral damage to the rest of the tier, especially the likes of the Latias and Lugia, thanks to Shadow Ball. However, compared to the other Ubers, Mega Gengar's defenses were still mediocre, especially with the loss of Levitate. Pokemon such as Aegislash, Mega Mewtwo, Deoxys Attack, and Rayquaza could all outspeed Gengar and take it out with ease. Finally, Gen 6 VGC. With the advent of Mega Kangaskhan, regular Gengar saw great usage as it was immune to its moveset barring Sucker Punch, and able to greatly cripple it with Will-O-Wisp. It could also burn common threats like Mega Mawile and Garchomp, as well as taunt Tailwind users and prevent the opponent from increasing speed. Finally, it could defend itself from faster Pokemon with the use of Protect. Ironically, Mega Kangaskhan is a great partner with regular Gengar as well as Garchomp, Salamence, and Talonflame. So basically, the main role in Gen 6 VGC for regular Gengar was to cripple physical attackers. Now Mega Gengar. Mega Gengar was utilized
Mega
differently
Gengar.
as it reprised its role as a Perish Song trapper. Thanks to Shadow Tag, it could trap non-ghost opponents and use Perish Song to potentially KO both opponents' Pokemon in 3 turns. This, coupled with its massive special attack stat, allowed Mega Gengar to become a huge threat to the meta. It was even used in the finals of VGC Worlds by world champion Wolf Glick. Without a doubt, Gengar was one of the top threats in VGC during this time. In general, Gengar's weak matchups in VGC consisted of faster Pokemon again, dark types like Tyranitar and Hydreigon, Greninja, and Lumberry users who could heal off its Will-O-Wisp. And I apologize in advance if that seemed a little condensed. I really wanted to get through all of it in a reasonable amount of time, and there was a lot on Gengar because Gengar was not only good as a regular Pokemon, but also as a Mega. So how did Gengar do? Gengar was phenomenal throughout the years in both singles and doubles.
Top tier.
Despite not being able to utilize its special attack with ghost moves in the past, Gengar was still prominent because of all the other moves it could learn. Once it finally got its ghost moves and even more useful moves, Gengar stayed as one of the premier threats of various metagames throughout the years. And now, all I can do is pray for it since they took away his Levitate in Gen 7. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video and enjoy my content and you want to see more, please subscribe for more videos.
You know what to do for this man's videos. Just like Gengar, I'm Ghost.